Alright guys, Marcus and James here inside one of our deals.
If you do have any questions about this property, please give us a call. We'd love to show it to you.
Alright, so I was up bright and early this morning at the golf course, chipping and putting.
You take Char?
No, she's at school. She's at school, man. So I was out there at Minor Golf Park, which is right by Adrienne's school. It's actually just like 4 blocks away.
In Overland Park?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not Overland Park. It's in Missouri. It's on the Missouri side.
Okay.
So they've got 2 putting greens right there by the clubhouse, and I chipped one up. Like I sat my bag down, got my balls out, and I was chipping up. I chipped 1 ball up there, and then the sprinkler systems came on. So I left the ball, grabbed my bag, and went to the other one. I'm like, man, I hope it doesn't go from there to here. But it was crazy. So it's a lot of fun getting out there every day and practicing. So
You've been going a lot more than me.
I've been going. I started taking lessons. I've only had 2. But you know how, so before I started having lessons, I was going to the driving range almost every day and hitting balls and like working on my technique, and I'm like, I'm going to be this badass golfer, and I've got it all down. And I started taking lessons from this guy he's got his pro card, super cool guy, and we get along really well. And he's like, yeah, no, and he goes, the way you swing,
it's all wrong.
yeah, so you're doing everything wrong. He's like, you're not standing right, you're not swinging it right, we're going to have to rebuild your swing from the ground up. So we spent like 2 days. He spent 2 days with me, showing me like proper stance and the right way to swing and how to hold your hinge, so after he did that, I couldn't hit the ball worth shit. Like it was bad, man. Like I looked like I never even picked up a club before. But what he said is how well you hit the ball right now is not you can't determine that you're swinging the club incorrectly. Like ball distance, or because you're just going to suck at it for a long time, because what's going to happen is like your hinge is coming down, and then like right at the last second you're hitting it, so your hands are actually in front of the ball. Mm-hmm. And it's all timing, and it takes a lot of freaking practice, man. And so like I've gone out and played golf a couple times, and I look like an idiot, man. Because I can't hit. So I've determined I'm going to go to the range every day and hit. So, and that's what I've been doing for the last few weeks, and I'm getting to the point where I'm making good contact, actually like 95% of the time. So.
Yeah, that's how it was when I went up to Golf Tech, because that guy's from Golf Tech, right?
Yeah. Actually, he was. Yeah.
So
I think they fired him or something.
But yeah, I went up there and they did the same thing. Like everything, like I was behind the ball instead of in front of the ball, and just like my whole swing would be, it's supposed to kind of go I don't know what they call it, but it's supposed to go a certain way.
On the same path. It's supposed to travel on the same path.
Instead of like going too far back or whatever. But that's what I like there is they have the screen there, so you can actually see what you're doing and where. Like, are you lining up where you're supposed to be?
You can see how bad you are.
Yeah, with each swing. So, but yeah, it was. My stuff was just all over the board when I was changing it, and they were trying to tell me. So, but yeah, and then just like I felt like afterwards, like my whole hand was just sore, from the way I switched my grip, because I was doing that completely wrong too.
Like since I've been playing, like I've noticed this pinky on my left hand,
it's
like
sore.
locks.
Yeah,
like,
mine does.
I'll wake up in the morning and it'll be like that, and I'll have to go like that.
Well, mine does this weird like pop.
Yeah, it's exactly what mine does, man. It's so weird.
on your left.
Yep, I have to figure that out.
Yeah, mine was really sore for a while. I had to like.
I know. I've been massaging it. Oh man, to get it straightened out a little bit. Like right now it feels good, but like if I sit there for any length of time, man, it's like.
Yep.
It's crazy. That's funny, man. So one thing that I love about golf is it's such a challenging game. So I've only been playing for 3 months, 3.5 months now.
Yep.
And which is funny, man. Like we just started playing and we're like road trip.
Yeah,
we
Vegas.
went to Vegas and played for 3 days, and we actually had a good time, and we golfed really well out there.
Yeah. Well,
you
guys did.
I mean, we golfed really well.
I was all over
by our standards. We golfed really well.
I had the most fun and felt like I did the best at the hardest course, the first one.
What did we play first? Was it Desert Pines?
No, it was the
TPC?
TPC, yeah. That one was the hardest course.
That was an amazing
yeah.
course.
But I feel like I did the best at that one.
They had this incredible, I think it was on hole 2 or 3. It was a par 3.
Is that the one where there's the valley you
yeah, you were
hit
up
over?
on this plateau with this beautiful green and this huge ravine that was just full of cactuses and rocks and boulders. And then about 100, it was probably about 170 yards out, you had this little island basically with a green and a little rough around it.
I think I got some pictures. We'll have to put those on here too.
Yeah, I wish we could have got a video of that. That would have been fantastic. But yeah, we all hit it. Derek and I were on the green, and then you were just in the rough, like right outside of the green.
Yeah,
it was
I don't know, 8 inches.
beautiful up there too. So
yeah, we had a good time out there.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. We're gonna have to go out there again too. It's what I love about golf is it's such a challenging thing, and you have to go out there and practice daily if you want to get better at it. And like to me, there's such a huge correlation between playing golf and being in business, right? Because when you start at business, you can read all the books you want, you can get all the mentors you want, and you can get all the great advice if you actually do get good advice. But it takes a lot of practice to figure out the do's and the don'ts. And I can say the people that are successful in any industry, whether it's real estate related or it's marketing or whatever it is, it takes so much practice. And the only reason that they succeed is because they have figured out every way not to do something. I think about all the mistakes I've made coming up. And I could definitely tell you how not to wholesale a house or what price not to get a house under contract, because I've probably had hundreds of houses that I've got under contract
Couldn't sell.
in the beginning, and you never could sell because I got them way too high.
Yep.
You know, I misjudged construction, or something was off in the wrong area, or the rents were too high. And like that's something James and I were even talking about this morning. We've got a guy right now that's running our numbers for us. We have these incredible back-end systems to help us push deals through. So we have hundreds and hundreds of phone calls coming in every week, and we have to evaluate each one of those that comes in. And we
do make an offer on everyone.
We
too,
do, yeah.
So.
We have specific processes in place. But what we're noticing over the last week is we are getting a couple deals that are coming in that are too high, that aren't deals. So we're going back and tweaking that, and like I think that's something that you always have to do. Always have to do as a business owner. Like it's never, at least for me, it's never been, hey, everything's running great right now, and I'm just killing it, and I don't have any issues that I have to work through. Like it's a constant, daily grind to get up, to drive properties, to evaluate, make sure that systems are in place, that everybody's working efficiently. So we're gonna have to sit down. We're gonna have to talk with our guy about running numbers and why he's doing what he's doing, and maybe we need to adjust our pro forma a little bit. Who knows? But that's one thing I love about it. Like you just never know. I can get up every day, and it's not going to be the same as yesterday. I'm going to have a new challenge. I'm going to have a new problem. I'm going to have a new situation that I'm going to have to deal with and figure out. And I think that's really what being successful is.
It is.
Is facing those problems and those issues that we all have, and approaching them in a different way. I know before I became an entrepreneur, I hated those types of situations, like at work, where things didn't go right, and it was always this huge issue, and I never knew how to overcome that.
Right.
And that's been one of the biggest challenges that I've had as an entrepreneur, is figuring out how to deal with problems successfully. So now, that we've been in business for 10 years, I kind of welcome a challenge, and I'm really comfortable when things aren't going well. And as a matter of fact, when things are going really well, I kind of get this red flag in the back of my head, thinking, okay, you're not paying attention to something. Something you're not doing something right. Totally, yeah. Because nothing ever just runs smooth. Now we do have a lot of things that work really well. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to make it sound like it's a disaster over here.
Right.
Like we have some fantastic people that work for us. I am so grateful to have Andrea and Stephanie here. Like those ladies are
crushing it.
They're literally crushing it for us right now. Like I said, last week they picked up 7 deals, which is amazing.
I think the week before we had 6.
Yeah, they're doing awesome. And then we got a couple other people in the office too that help on back end stuff that really don't get mentioned a whole lot, but it's just as important. So
they shine behind the scenes.
Yeah, they really do. If you are a new business owner or you are wanting to get in the real estate business, there's never been a better time than now. There's so much opportunity in the real estate field, no matter what your experience is. And that's one thing as an entrepreneur is you are literally paid on what you bring to the table. And it goes for everybody, even employees, even though they probably don't realize it right now. Like I get paid a certain, I don't get paid a salary, like I don't ever get a paycheck, but I do make a lot of money. And the money that I make is a direct reflection on what I bring to the table as an entrepreneur. And that's one thing that I love about it, is it's all dependent on me getting up every day and grinding it out. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
No, I wouldn't either. I like the fact that we can make our own rules, and if we want to be here or not, or we bring on even the bad stuff. Like I bring that on because I get it's like a rush. When, like you were saying, when there's nothing, when it's all running smooth, and to me that's boring. I don't like that. I like there to be some sort of ruckus or something to be working towards, or the challenge, or just being able to get I don't know, it gets my blood pumping and gets me worked up. Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah.
Some sort of risk.
No, it is. I don't know if it's
Here's
not really
the thing.
risk, but
It's really not.
yeah, it's not risk. That's not the right word.
Okay, so let's talk about risk for a minute. Is it risky for me to be an entrepreneur and buy assets that are cash flowing, that appreciate? It may be a little bit scary for some people. To me, it's much more risky to have a job, work a 9 to 5, and then rely on your pension to be there when you want to retire, and depend on Social Security to be there. Like, we all know what's going on with Social Security and with pensions right now, and the 401k. They're not reliable. And if you're not actively pursuing other ways of bringing money in and building up your investments, then you're just going to be shit out of luck when it comes time for you to retire. And that's one thing, 10 years ago, I started realizing that. And that if I kept doing what I was doing, I wasn't going to be where I wanted to be when I retired. So at the end of the day, so Robert Kiyosaki says it best. The difference between, there's a very simple difference between rich people and poor people. Rich people buy assets, and poor people buy liabilities. They like to buy doodads, new cars and TVs whenever they get cash, right? What do rich people do? And if they want to buy a new car, they go out and they buy an investment that pays for them to get a new car. Because let's just take this as an example real quick, and I won't spend a lot of time on this, but I actually had this conversation with somebody the other day, and I think it's really powerful. This guy was retiring, and he goes, I'm retiring, I got this little payout, it was like $40K, and I've always wanted a pickup truck, and I'm going to buy this pickup truck. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome, you should totally buy a pickup truck, but why don't you buy a rental from me, and you can get $500 a month net cash flow, and then take a loan out and get your pickup truck. That way you have an asset that's paying for it. And so at the end of the day, when that loan is paid off by your asset, what do you still have? Well, you have your pickup truck, and you still have this rental that's paying you $500 net every month. And it didn't sink in. I think that he ended up buying the pickup truck and basically killed 40,000 of his employees that could have been working for him. That's such an easy thing for me, but the concept is really difficult if you don't have the mindset for it. So, and you can get that mindset by start hanging out with investors and like-minded people, and people that own rental property. That simple thing right there, changing the people that I hang out with back in the day, is really what started propelling me forward and really changed my life and my attitude towards investing.
No, I agree with that. And the saying of you're the average of your friends is true. I never believed that. I thought, okay, I can still be making more and hang out with them, and to me that's not true. I still have a few people that make, we all have people that we hang around with that make less, but I think hanging out or spending some time, and the majority of the time needs to be spent with those people that you want to be like. If they're wanting to have money, or they're wanting to be successful, or whatever it is, they need to be hanging out with those people that they're trying to be like.
Absolutely.
I think that's very important.
Do you mean that in like a networking way, or just it kind of puts a general attitude transfers?
I think that's going to happen with being around them.
Mm-hmm.
I think if that's what you want to do, you need to take the time to spend with those people, whether it's mentoring or, just trying to go play golf with them, go do anything you can with them to be able to spend time with them, hear how they talk, listen to how they think. And, I think that's, it'll start rubbing off on you. You'll start thinking differently or approaching things in a different manner.
How do we go from talking to golf to talking about changing the people that you hanged out?
I don't know, but I think it started with how the two are together. Like with the golf, there's challenges. We hit it off and into the woods, and we got to go find it, and then maybe try to practice swings out of there because we don't go to the driving range and practice out of the woods.
Yeah.
And then.
So what's the most amount of golf balls you've ever lost in a golf ball? In a golf, I almost said golf ball game.
In a golf game.
Yeah.
Well, in a golf ball game, I think it was when we were in Vegas. I think I went through a dozen.
Is that it?
Maybe it's 15. See, I don't know.
I'm embarrassed now.
You went through 2 dozen?
I played with Derek, and just this was probably now it was probably 2 months ago now, and yeah, I had a completely off, really bad day, and he stopped counting after 25.
Oh wow. Yeah, mine was like, I don't know. It was a little over a dozen, I think.
Yeah.
Or right around there. So.
There was this. We were at this I think it was a par 3, but it was like a really long par 3 with water in between. And there was something about that water that was just jacking with my head. And so I hit like the first 4 into the water, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to sit here, and I'm going to hit this MFer until I get it over. And so I literally, I was grinding it out. And like, hit it, water, hit it, water, hit it, water. For like 25, like I literally used all of the golf balls I had in my bag, and I used some of his to the point where I had used up all of mine and all of his golf balls, and we were having to try to find golf balls on the way to the next hole. But I did finally get it over. I mean, that's kind of the moral of the story, right? I was bound and determined to get it over. And then like when I did hit it, like I just kind of shanked it a little bit, and it just kind of hooked and just barely landed up on the grass. But hey, it counted. It was good.
Golf.